my child has started taking therapy, and after starting therapy, she has started hating us. We have had so many parents who have come to us with this complaint that only after starting therapy, now my child has so much anger towards us, and now my child or adult child is blaming us for all the wrong things that we did. I'm Riri Trivedi. Today I'm going to share with you some points or some concerns that I have found out dealing with so many clients in my clinical practice, and I wish to share with you as parents and as mental health practitioners. I am myself a regression therapist, a parenting coach and a trainer. So when usually children go for therapy and when they are being told about childhood trauma and how their childhood experiences impact their mental well-being, a lot of these children, when they are not guided by experienced therapists, end up now using this information in order to start hating their parents, getting angry and blaming the parents for all their miseries. There are two things at play here. One is the person who is receiving the information, the child or the adult, is probably not matured enough to understand that this information of childhood trauma or understanding the root cause of your trauma is not meant for you to use it to hate your parents, to create a rift with your parents, or to use it to blame and shame your parents, because that will not cause any transformation in you. This information is only meant for you to understand the cause of your problem and to use techniques and tools so that you can overcome it. And overcome it so that your relationship with the same parents can reach a neutral ground, if not a positive space. And the second aspect to this is the therapist who is conveying this to the clients. There are many, unfortunately, inexperienced therapists who end up teaching to these clients about childhood trauma without adequate experience or information. And because of this, what happens is that the awareness now gets transformed into hatred and blame for the parents. Remember, as therapists, our job is not to create a rift in relationships because of the awareness that we have, but this awareness needs to be cleverly and empathetically used to actually build bridges or at least keep the relationships neutral, if not positive. I would like to say that many therapists unfortunately communicate the concept of boundaries also so rigidly that under the name of boundaries, many children and adults are actually drawing very, very sharp lines and building walls between themselves and their parents. This is not what boundaries are. Real boundary or a healthy boundary is when you can be around that parent and still not be triggered or affected. When you block the parents, when you disengage completely from the abusive parent, or when you completely disconnect from the person who you thought has victimized you, most likely a parent, then that blocking or creating a wall is not a healthy way or is not a sign of you being healed. A healed person can actually be with that victim, with the perpetrator or with the abuser, and still not get triggered or still be unaffected by that person. So all I would really like to say is, as therapists at Wellness Space, we are very mindful of this. We are very careful about what we tell our clients, especially young, impressionable teenagers and young adults when it comes to boundaries or when it comes to talking about childhood trauma. The objective of talking about boundaries and childhood trauma is not to isolate parents from their children, is not to create a rift and a wall, but is to actually heal the child and the parent so that the healed cells can now bond in a positive way. And if, of course, the parent is extremely toxic or highly dysfunctional or has mental health issues, then of course complete disengagement is a good option, but in most of the cases that is really not required. So be careful about who you select as a therapist, because there are many inexperienced therapists out there who, in all good intentions, actually are trying to heal the clients, but in the process creating a lot of damage in their relationships. So please be watchful. In my opinion, any therapy that creates a rift between the biological parents, that creates a huge gap or a wall, or that makes the children hate and blame and shame the parents, is not correct therapy. That is wrong therapy or incomplete therapy. The actual real therapy is when the person is completely healed and is able to now forge new positive functional relationship with the parents or the biological family. So please keep this in mind. This is something that keeps coming up in our clinical practice, and hence I have made this video in order to talk about my feelings on it, my opinions on it, and educate some of you out there. The intention of therapy is not to blame the parents. The intention of understanding childhood trauma is not to put the blame of our problems on our parents, but is to take ownership and heal it ourselves, so that we can stop that generational trauma, go back and heal our own parents, and not continue the trauma forward in the subsequent generations. I hope this video helps.